Welcome back to the Old History Project YouTube channel. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please see the description below for links to my Facebook page and podcast. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I made this one into a podcast some time ago, and I figured why not make it into a video? So, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And hit the bell button down below to be notified every time I upload a new video. And lastly, please consider joining the East Tennessee Historical Society as a member. You can get more information on how to do so on their website. Did you know that marble from Tennessee is in both the state capitol and the U.S. Capitol? Well, I wasn't taught that in school. My dad actually taught me that. So here's the story of it. Tennessee marble at one point was so highly sought after, as it is some of the only kind like it in the world. But it isn't technically a true marble. It is actually classified as a limestone, but we have around 3 types of this marble somewhere under our mountains. We have gray, pink, and cedar, with pink being the most sought after. Now, one of the earliest known marble structures built in the state was called Swan Pond. It was aka the Ramsey House. It was built in 1797 by architect Thomas Hope, which is near one of the many marble mines that would come to inhabit the Knoxville area. Now, the onset of the marble industry in Upper East Tennessee can be directly attributed to Gerard Troost, who was the first state geologist. He noted the presence of the material in 1831 in a presentation to the Tennessee General Assembly. He had reported that it was far more beautiful than any other type of marble in the world. By 1838, Orville Rice and S.D. Mitchell would open up the first quarry in the state, and his quarry, which has never been found, was located somewhere along Caney Creek in Rogersville, Tennessee. Rice would be a member of a railroad advocate committee whose goal was to try and bring the railroad through Rogersville. Now, this idea would later tie in with the work of J.G.M. Ramsey of Knoxville, also of Swan Pond, Lawson D. Franklin, a lead mine owner from Jefferson County, and Joseph Hamilton, Jr., a Jefferson County clerk, in bringing the railroad to East Tennessee, namely the Charleston, Cincinnati, and Chicago Railroad. They wanted to build a rail linking the port cities along the coast of South Carolina with East Tennessee and connecting that with the trade hubs of the Midwest. Capitalizing on the Hawkins County marble industry was also part of their plan. However, because actions taken during the Civil War ruined the railroad, the company would go bankrupt. Later on, the Morristown Cumberland Gap in Ohio would also try to capitalize on the Hawkins County marble industry, but this pipe dream would never come to fruition. In 1850, pink marble gained national attention when the Washington Monument was being built, as the Washington Monument Society had sent out a request to every marble-producing state wanting a stone from each to represent the nation's first president. So, when Governor William Trousdale sent out word to every marble mine, it would be from the Rogersville Marble Company that he chose as the respective stone for the Washington Monument. Upon seeing it, he had seen nothing similar in comparison to the pink marble, and it would be declared the state stone. A block would be paid for by the state and sent to D.C., where it would be engraved and polished with the quote, "The Federal Union must be preserved," no doubt a nod to President Andy Jackson. The pink marble would also be used in the Tennessee State Capitol building, the National Gallery of Art, the floors of the Jefferson and the Lincoln memorials, and the U.S. Capitol building. Other buildings include San Francisco's City Hall and New York City's Grand Central Station. In 1848, Orville Rice would build a grand 22-room, 3-story fortress that was made almost entirely out of marble, and he would use it to showcase the beauty of what he could produce, which included marble floors, doors, windowsills, and mantelpieces. And by the 1850s, he had found an even more superior quality of marble, which he called dark pink, and he would learn to produce marble mantels, center tables, side tables, bureau tops, and vases. By the mid-1850s, Rice would begin to have competition from people like Andrew Galbraith, who owned the Galbraith Marble Quarry and the Galbraith Springs Hotel, and a few others that would spring up in the southern end of Hawkins County. But by the 1870s, because, as I mentioned earlier, the railroad at its closest would either be across a river several miles away at Whitesburg or several miles down the road in Bean Station. This unfortunate set of circumstances would cause the Hawkins County marble industry to lose any sort of advantage it had held for the last 20 years. Following the Civil War, most of the southern economy was in shambles, as it was hard enough for what pre-war industries existed to survive. By the 1870s, there was a network of rail lines that came out of Knoxville that proved to be a blessing for the Knoxville marble industry, as it was available to be transported directly to a rail car for travel north or south. The marble industry in Hawkins County would suffer because of the great amount of work that was needed to put it on a cart and then put it on a flatboat to transport to Knoxville or Chattanooga for rail transport. This made marble from this area very expensive, and now Knoxville had a variety of competing marble mines to choose from, which made material from there more readily accessible. Knoxville would also be given the nickname the Marble City, with businesses using Marble City in the name. Moving back to Orville, Rice, there was a recent discovery of copper in the hills of southwest Virginia. This would prompt Rice, who had had lots of luck and fortune with the mining industry, to sell his quarry to buy up land for prospecting in Virginia, a move that would be his downfall, sort of an act of desperation, as his assets and property had been seized by the government due to his son's participation in the Confederate Army. Rice would not strike copper and went bankrupt. He lost the elegant marble mansion, all of his farms, all of his wealth, and the huge lump of land would be sold in 1872 for no more than the equivalent of, $10,000, what would be $220,000 today. The elegant mansion would burn down between the 1910s and 1930s, with the only remains of it being the kitchen. After World War II, the demand for marble was significantly decreased, and by 1950, only 5 marble companies were in operation, and in 1993, there was only one.